各位记者朋友，大家下午好。
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Questions, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问。据报道，李强总理已
China News Service, it was reported that Premier Li Qiang has concluded his visit to Saudi Arabia. Can you share more details? As the invitation of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince and Prime Minister, Premier Li Qiang paid an official visit to Saudi Arabia from September 10th to 11th. Premier Li Qiang, Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman held talks and co-chaired the fourth meeting of the high-level Chinese-Saudi Joint Committee. Premier Li Qiang also had a conversation with representatives from the business community of Saudi Arabia. Premier Li noted that growing relations with Saudi Arabia is a priority in China's overall diplomacy, especially in our diplomacy towards the Middle East. We hope to support each other, help each other succeed, view each other's developments as important opportunities, and further leverage the role of the high-level Joint Committee mechanism to achieve new greater development in bilateral relations. The two sides need to further increase bilateral trade, encourage our companies to invest in each other's country, and jointly keep the global industrial and supply chains stable. The two sides will work for the success of the China-Saudi Arabia Year of Culture and enhance people-to-people exchanges to deepen mutual understanding and friendship. Premier Li Qiang encouraged entrepreneurs to grasp the overriding trend and take the initiative to act. Companies from Saudi Arabia are welcome to continue exploring the Chinese market and investing in China. The Chinese government will further ease market access, abolish all market access restrictions on foreign investment in manufacturing, and provide quality services for foreign businesses so that foreign businesses will take root and achieve success in China. Premier Li Qiang also met with Secretary General of the GCC. Premier Li Qiang noted that China is ready to step up policy coordination with the GCC through the China-GCC strategic dialogue and support countries in the region in resolving differences through dialogue and consultation and building lasting friendly ties. The GCC side expressed high appreciation to China for our just position on the Palestinian question and our support for peace and stability in the Middle East. Next question, please.
谢谢万人。中央广播电视总台央视记者提问。那今天是联合国南南
CCTV, today marks the UN Day for South-South Cooperation. During the Beijing summit of FOCAC, a good many of African leaders hailed China-Africa cooperation as a stellar example of South-South cooperation. Antonio Guterres said at the summit that China's partnership with the African continent is the main pillar of South-South cooperation. How does China view South-South cooperation, and how will China further promote it in the future? China is the largest developing country and a natural member of the Global South. Africa is the continent home to the largest number of developing countries. President Xi put forward at the Beijing summit of FOCAC 6 features of the modernization that China and Africa should jointly advance, which are well received by participants. This will have a profound and far-reaching influence on spreading faster global South modernization and promoting global modernization. China has all along been a staunch force for development and prosperity of the Global South. China has provided development assistance to over 160 countries, conducted Belt and Road cooperation with more than 150 countries, and worked with over 100 countries and some international organizations, including the UN, to implement the GDI. China has set up a Global Development and South-South Cooperation Fund, which so far financed over 150 programs. In South-South cooperation, China never attaches political strings and means to enhance capacity building for self-generated development for developing countries with every sincerity. China will continue to deliver tangible cooperation results for Global South cooperation countries to prosper together. Next one, please.
发言人您好，欢迎连社提问。
Yonhap News Agency. Today I have two questions. First, from September 8th to 9th, the chargé d'affaires of the Chinese embassy in the DPRK, Feng Chuntai, attended the celebration of the 76th National Day of the DPRK. Will Ambassador Wang Yajun leave his post, or is he not currently in the DPRK? The second question, the DPRK launched multiple short-range ballistic missiles to the East Sea of the ROK on the 12th. Is the launch related to the joint military exercises between China and Russia? In the Sea of Okhotsk. The DPRK has launched trash balloons to the south for 5 consecutive days and then launched ballistic missiles. What is your comment on that?
你的第一个问题
First, on your first question, as far as I know, Mr. Ambassador Wang Yajun is on a vacation in China. And on the first aspect that you mentioned in your questions, I don't see any associations between the two sides. And on the Peninsula issue, China's position is consistent. We are committed to peace and stability in the Peninsula, and we support relevant sides to improve ties through dialogue. Next one, please.
法新社提问。
AFP. South Korean footballer Sun Junho was banned for life by China's Football Association this week, but he denied any wrongdoing, saying his confession was coerced and that he and his family were threatened by the Chinese police. What's China's response to this? And has China notified FIFA of Sun Junho's ban?
今年3月
In March 2024, China's judicial authorities announced the sentencing for the case of ROK citizen Sun Junho, who was accused of taking bribery. Sun pleaded guilty at the court and will not appeal. China is a country under the rule of law. Judicial authorities in China try cases in strict accordance with law and fully protects the lawful rights and interests of individuals concerned. On the specifics of the ban that you mentioned, I'd refer you to competent authorities. Next one, please. The paper, WTO recently released the Annual Report 2024. It reiterated the importance of trade for poverty reduction and common prosperity, and pointed out that mounting protectionism threatens to unwind 30 years of progress in closing the gaps between the poor and the rich. WTO Director General said that protectionism is not an effective path towards inclusiveness. Instead, more and better trade is the path to bring people and places from the margins to the mainstream of the economy. What's your comment? I also noted the report. It mentioned that the growing protectionism will harm the growth prospect of all economies and will hit the poor and economically marginalized countries hardest. China is an important contributor to open trade. We're all along firmly opposed to trade protectionism, stand for universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization, and stay committed to bridging the North-South gap. At the Beijing summit of FOCAC, President Xi announced that China will implement 10 partnership actions, including the Partnership Action for Trade Prosperity, unilaterally open its market wider, and give the least developed countries in Africa zero tariffs treatment. This has made China the first major developing country and the first major economy to take such a step. Protectionism has no future. Prosperity and stability cannot be possible in a world where the rich become richer while the poor are made poorer. We stand ready to discuss with more Global South countries free trade arrangements, help other developing countries improve their transport and logistics through practical cooperation, including BRI, and make them better players in international trade. Next one, please.
法新社提问。
AFP. Yesterday, China and the Philippines had a joint consultation with the Philippines. The dialogue was candid. Can you share more details? What common understandings were reached between the two sides and what topics were discussed?
非在
Yesterday, China and the Philippines held the BCM meeting. Between the heads of the two delegations, we've released a readout which you may refer to. I have nothing to add. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。北京青年报记者提问：昨日，西班牙首相桑切斯在访华。
Beijing News Daily. Yesterday, Spanish Prime Minister in the press session after his visit to China said that he is reconsidering the position on the EU's additional tariffs on Chinese-made EVs and called on all EU members and the European Commission to reconsider their positions. He said that there should not be a trade war between the two sides, and the two sides need to seek a solution. What's your comment? The remarks by the Prime Minister reflects his rational and objective thoughts. We can applaud that. The EV industry serves the common interests of the two sides. We need to work together to respond to challenges which will benefit our two companies and consumers and help China and the EU, even the world, in the green transition. China upholds the biggest sincerity to actively seek a solution that are acceptable to both sides and conforms with WTO rules. We hope that the EU side can listen more rational and objective views, fully understand the complementary and the potential of cooperation between China and the EU in EVs, show flexibility and sincerity, and work with China in the same direction to handle frictions through dialogue and consultation and bring China-EU trade relations to the track of sound and stable growth.
C News
法新社据澳大利亚媒体报道，澳大利亚政府派出一个专家组去斐济，帮助斐济应对其网络被中国黑客袭击的问题。你是否见到了这个报道？ Could you repeat your question, please? What the report was about? 澳大利亚的 ABC 新闻发表了一个报告，说澳大利亚政府派出专家组去斐济，来帮助斐济应对其网络被中国黑客袭击的问题。
有关报道。
We noted the reports. We also noted that the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat did not make any association between the hacking attack with China. Such disinformation concocted to serve political purposes have appeared multiple times before. They aim at instigate sow discord between regional countries and China. I want to stress that the South Pacific is not the backyard of any country. We hope relevant sides can fully respect the rights of South Pacific countries in seeking balanced development and relations with all sides.
Bloomberg News. Sorry, I have to.
彭博社今天，彭博社报道，商务部告知中国的电动汽车企业，说他们不能向其他国家出口。中国政府一直批评美国进行出口管制。为什么中国现在不让中国电动汽车向印度和土耳其等国家出口？
建议你向中方的主管部。
I'd refer you to competent authorities on that.
From PTI.
印报托，王毅外长正在参加金砖安代会，他会见了其他国家的外长，他会与印度国家安全顾问会见吗？
The bilateral meetings taking place between Foreign Minister Wang Yi and other countries' officials will release information in due course. Please check back for updates. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Anything else?
那好，今天的记者会。
Then let's call it a day. Thank you for coming.